Good morning and happy holidays. Hoping this is on and everybody out there can hear me before we get started. If someone could just jump in the chat field and let me know that you can hear me and that you are there. I see lots of people online. There you are. Awesome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Valerie Garcia, and I am joining you today from very sunny and very unseasonably warm Toronto, Ontario. And this is our annual social media, the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you've ever joined us for this before, you know this is kind of a fun one. This is a session where we take real life examples that I've collected all year long from public social media sites, and most of the time blur out names and faces so that we are not publicly naming and shaming. And we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of social media in the real estate space for the year. I always have a lot of fun putting this session together. It's always very interesting for me to look back over the file that I've collected throughout the year and take a look at just what I've thought was great and awesome and horrible and share it with you. And so the point of this session is not necessarily to make people feel bad or, like I said, to name and shame, but it is to help you get a little bit of a laugh here at the end of the year, but also maybe learn something. So very excited to have you aboard. I want to do a special welcome to all of our folks from Remax Argentina who are online with us this morning, several folks from Remax of Europe, as well as my friends in the real estate industry all over North America, potentially even some Aussies on the call today. I know it's the middle of the night there. But very awesome to see so many of you online. This always warms my heart. So we are going to go ahead and get started with, again, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I would love for you to follow along online. There is a Facebook page where you can post. You can also jump on Twitter and share using the hashtag good, bad, ugly. I would love your feedback. It's always fun for me to hear whether you agree or disagree with my choices. Some of these this year are a little controversial, I'm not going to lie. So I would love for you to give me your feedback and share with me what you think about this year's session. So we are going to jump right in. I'm going to give you this typical disclaimer, blah, 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 public social media sites, grain of salt, no hate mail, all that good stuff. So thank you very much for participating today. I do want to start with a public service announcement, maybe a word from our sponsors here, just a little bit of a notation in starting this session. You know, this year has been a really rough year on social media, I think, for a lot of people. I think it's been a bit heavy at times. And one of the things that I definitely was feeling back in September was that one of the things that we do, I think, is we criticize failure with a lot of enthusiasm, but we don't necessarily publicly celebrate success with the same enthusiasm. And this is something that was really weighing on me a couple of months ago. And so, in regards to this, I've made a concerted effort this year in this session to make sure that there's more good than ugly and more good than bad. And I'm really pleased to say that we have accomplished that this year, that we have some really good stuff this year. And I'm really proud about that. I'm proud to know so many people that are posting so many great and wonderful and uplifting and valuable things. And so I'm happy to share those with you this year. But I do think that it's important that we call as much attention to the good as we do to the failures. And so I hope that I can accomplish that for you this year. All right. So one other note before we jump in, one of the things that I have been mentioning and that I'm really proud of is this month marks the 2-year anniversary of a very dear friend of mine, Bruce Johnson, and his wife Mary, and their daughters Holly and Jossie. They, in honor of their daughter and sister, who was only on this earth a few days, they started Motorcycle for Miracles 2 years ago. And their goal in starting this fund was to raise $100,000 in support of Children's Miracle Network and the Sick Kids Hospital, which is our local children's hospital. And to date, I am proud to note that they have raised 96% of their goal. They're at they are at 96,000 and change dollars. And so our goal here on this webinar, as well as throughout the industry, is to help them reach their $100,000 goal before the end of the year, and ideally before Christmas, which would be awesome. And so I personally am going to be donating $1 for every attendee on today's webinar to this fund. And I would encourage you, if you would like to contribute, to do that as well. I've put the link to their page in the chat button. So thank you so much for your support in that and any other charitable work that you do. I know so many of my friends in this industry are just wonderful, giving, loving people, and I appreciate about so many of you. So on that note, we are going to jump right in. So let's start with the good. And the good stuff is great. Hopefully it warms your heart. Hopefully it makes you feel like these are some wonderful people and things that are being published in our industry, and that are just being put out there with some wonderful feelings related to our industry. I think there's a lot of negativity out there, especially regarding real estate agents, and I just think some of this good stuff is wonderful and great to learn from. So let's take a look. The first person, and I don't blur out the faces of the good stuff, just so you know. The first one that I'm showing you is a post by Debbie Maxwell from athomecharlotte.com. And this was something that she posted early in the year, and I just love this. As someone who's moved a lot in my lifetime, 17 times to be exact, 4 of those internationally, I can tell you that moving really sucks. And this post just made me smile. The fact that this is something that they do on a regular basis when a seller moves into a house and they open a clean refrigerator, and what they find there is a Ben & Jerry's with a spoon and some drinkware and champagne and some bottled water. I mean, that to me that was a huge smile. That was definitely something that we can learn from. And the fact that she shared that as something that she says not only is she proud of that they do, but this is something that is so easy for the rest of us to learn from, goes a long way with brownie points for buyers. So definitely a wonderful way to start out there. Good job, Debbie. All right, the next one that I'm going to show you is Ben & Jerry's. Speaking of Ben & Jerry's, I just think visually we need to do so much better in terms of using images in our social media content. And this is a company that just excels at it. And I realize they're not in real estate, although Ben & Jerry's, I mean, come on, who can be in any industry without Ben & Jerry's? But I just feel like they do a great job with this. I love seeing their images. If you don't follow them, that's a company that just gets it. They are just putting out fantastic stuff, and they're having fun with it. You'll see here that they posted this with the comment, "Stop licking the screen." I mean, it's just so much fun. And I would challenge you to look back over your last couple of posts in your pages and your social feeds and think, am I posting stuff that makes people smile? Is this something that people just look at and go, I love it. I love that. It makes me smile. It's a lot of fun. And I would encourage you to take that challenge. This is another company. I gave them props last year. Huge social media presence. They have really kicked it up a notch over the last couple of years. And I tell you what, they continue to impress me. I was talking about this company on stage at Inman in New York last January, and my friend Elza posted and commented to DiGiorno that I was talking about them on stage. And they private messaged her and they said, "Great, we'd love to show our thanks." And Elza and I both got a package in the mail a week later with an oven mitt and 5 free pizzas and a pizza cutter and a note expressing their thanks for giving them props. And this is really making it personal, guys. This is something where a company that's huge took their online, offline in a really real way. And I can't tell you how many times I talk about them and use them as example as social media done right, because they continue to impress me. So making it personal, that is what makes good social media. This one I thought was also pretty awesome. Cedric and Sayada, they are doing great things using BombBomb. Big shout out to BombBomb. This is a good example that they're using, that they share personal video messages to their clients. And I thought this one was amazing. They put a personal video message out to each of their past clients who are mothers on Mother's Day and just said something really wonderful about them being a mother and how great it is that they have come into their life and know them on a personal basis. Just this is how you make something personal. But again, I love the video element. I love the idea of putting this on social media and just making it so personal and fun. When I saw this and I watched one of their videos, it really made me smile. It made me feel like these are people that just get it. They're people, and everybody's people at the end of the day, customers and clients alike. And they love being treated like people and not just another number. So personalized videos, you just can't go wrong with that, folks. And as my good friend Lee Brown says, if you don't like the way you look on camera, newsflash, it's how you look in real life. Eventually, they're going to see you anyway. So get over the fear of the camera, guys. This is the year to do that. If you haven't already, really, video is the way to go. Loved this one. Told Veronica that I was going to not be blurring her out in today's session. This is just one of the funniest things I saw on Facebook this year. I love that this is a mom and a person and a real estate agent who not only shares her family, but shares the fact that her family gets what she does for a living. I mean, you know, a son that texts his mom and says, "Hey, they found water on Mars. Got to get a Remax up there before anyone else." I got a giggle out of this. I saved it. I thought, you know, on a day when I'm feeling blue, I'm going to read this because so funny. And this is the kind of stuff that shows your customers you're a real person and you have fun in your business and, you know, you have a family. And this was a big LOL for me. So great job, Veronica. Good job sharing the funny stuff related to your business. I think this is another company that's really killing it on social media this year, and I think we can learn a lot from them. I'm sure many of you have seen the posts from Tasty in your newsfeed. This is just one example where you're scrolling through and all of a sudden you see them making a delicious recipe in under 30 seconds in your newsfeed. One of the other things is they are just killing it with calls to action. And this is something that in general, our industry kind of stinks at, you know, putting that pin it for later button where you can just save that recipe and use it later. They're amazing. I've seen them post recipes all year long, and they're really taking advantage of the fact that Facebook is rewarding short videos, and they're doing it right. So I think we can learn a lot from this in terms of how we are advertising ourselves and our business. What I would really love to see is more of these where it's a really quick, short 30 seconds on why it's awesome to live in this neighborhood. And I'm seeing a coffee shop or a park or a couple of families playing on the ice rink or whatever it is that makes your neighborhood great. People are scrolling through their news feeds and they're looking for stuff that makes them smile and inspires them and brings value, and they just want to have fun with it. Social media is supposed to be social, guys. So think in terms of video and the stuff that's going to play automatically and bring people in and capture their attention. If you want some great examples, Tasty is a good one to start with. I know it's food, but replace the food with things like neighborhood videos and testimonials and just fun stuff, not just pictures of living rooms and kitchens and bathrooms, but the fun stuff that you get to do every day, putting a sign up or, you know, walking around a neighborhood. Those are some of the fantastic things that we could be sharing. Also want to give a huge shout out to Sharon Steele. I think I've got a couple of her in here, and I think last year some local love was fantastic. I had Lisa in here from New Orleans. This year Sharon definitely takes the local love category. I love that she's sharing things about her neighborhood. Guys, I really think that we could take better advantage of our neighborhood information. This is one of my favorite posts this year, talking about the best street in her town for trick-or-treating on Halloween, and about how it wasn't just written by her, it was written by a neighbor who lives on that street. I mean, how amazing is that? That it's talking about somebody who loves the street they live on so much because it's known as Halloween Street, and how much they enjoy living in that community. That goes a long way with customers who are thinking of moving to a particular community. So I encourage you to reach out to your communities and your past clients and ask them to share what they love about where they live, because this is gold. If you look at this, 37 comments, 67 shares, and 138 likes. I bet that a lot of the stuff you're sharing isn't getting shared 67 times. So take a lesson from Sharon. This was amazing. Good job, Sharon. The second one that I have on sharing is caring. This is Sharon as well, ironically. And I just thought this one was amazing. So great that I shared it as well. And I know so many people have implemented this into their business. This was a fantastic idea that Sharon got, and I apologize, Sharon, I don't remember who gave you the idea, but the fact that you're using a listing agreement for the kids in your transactions is wonderful. And what you can't read in this picture is that the listing presentation says, selling a house is serious business. And I understand that, my parents are selling their home and I'm going to pledge to be part of that process. So every day I'm going to make my bed and clean up my toys and put away my book bag and hang up my coat and do the best I can to make the house look great. And if I do that and all of those things are done and the property sells, then I'm going to get a $25 gift card, and Sharon has them circle at the bottom where they want the gift card to. And I love that that brings the family into the experience of, not everybody, really includes the kids in that process of we're selling a house and what does that mean to you? And we have to keep it showing ready. I love that Sharon is using this, and I encourage you to use this as well. I think it's a fantastic idea. Loved this post. Great job, Sharon. Also, another one that's not industry related, but I really think this is a Facebook page that is killing it out there. They are doing such amazing things with awareness just globally about people. And I would encourage you, if you aren't following Humans of New York, to do so. Not only do they make you feel they make you feel good, bad, otherwise empathetic, sympathetic. They make you think. I really think that we can learn a lot from this group about showing the people in our lives as opposed to the things. And I think this is something that we can all do better in this industry. Let's start highlighting some of the people in our lives. What about those clients? What about that barista at your coffee shop? What about that guy who's been doing your dry cleaning or making the bread at your bakery locally for 40 years? Why are we not highlighting the people that make our communities great as opposed to just, hey, here's another listing? Humans of New York really personalizes their city, their world. And I think that we could do a lot more of that in our industry. Just absolutely love this page. And I encourage you to follow them and take a page out of their book about humanizing the content that we put out there. Big shout out to my friend Mary Maloney on this one. This is a heartwarmer, guys. This got the Pay It Forward category this year. One thing that Mary does every year is she does a give back day. They do a kindness campaign, and she gives her entire team and everybody on her staff 10 cards and $50 and encourages them to go out in their community and pay it forward. Give somebody some good. I just love the stories that her team comes up with from this day of kindness. And I think this is something that we could all really just learn from. I just love that she says, be in gratitude. And I think that we have a lot to learn from this. They print out really simple cards. They drop them at their local Starbucks or different places. And hand them out and pay for the person behind them, or allow the company that they're leaving them with to really help somebody out that's in need, or just a random act of kindness. And I think that this is amazing. And Mary, hats off to you. One of the best ideas that I've seen this year, and also fantastic post, way to share the good that you're doing. Very last one I'm going to give you in the good category, and I promised you there was going to be lots of good this year. So, and there has been, and I've really enjoyed this section, but lots of LOLs on this one. I have to say, grand prize for the year goes to Realtor.com. Huge, huge props to their Learn with Liz series. If you have not had a chance to go to Realtor.com and search Learn with Liz and watch these Elizabeth Banks short videos, you are going to, I kid you not, almost pee your pants. They are so funny. And what a great way to, again, humanize the real estate experience. They're hilarious, but also super educational. And definitely a big round of applause to Realtor.com for putting these videos together. Loved them. One of my favorite things that I saw on social media this year. So that being said, we are heading into the bad. And just so you know, if you've never joined this webinar before, the good stuff, you get the point. It was amazing. It was great. We can learn from it. The bad, this is the stuff that really you shouldn't be doing. This is really not the good stuff on social media. We'll get to ugly later. That's a totally different category. But the bad, guys, this is the stuff we should really know better. All right, we're going to dive right in. First one, what happens online? Guys, social media is on the internet. And if you weren't aware, the internet is kind of like Vegas. What happens there doesn't just happen there. It happens everywhere. And what goes on Facebook stays on the internet forever. This post, this kind of made my heart hurt a little bit. That's somebody's house. I don't care if they live there or not. But guys, we can do better. I know that sometimes we think, oh, my clients are not looking at my Facebook posts. I'm sure that my customers don't see this. But I swear to you, they are. They're looking. They're Googling you. They're checking out what you're saying. And this is the kind of stuff that really should not be put on the internet. I'm not loving the idea of shaming your clients because the house is ugly. I'm really also not in love with, sharing those, oh my gosh, can you see how ugly this person's kitchen is? Or have you ever seen wallpaper so terrible? These are people's homes. And, one of the things that we do is we help them sell and buy, and sometimes in some of the most horrific and painful experiences of their lives. So I would encourage you to just be sensitive about that. This stuff, maybe you're thinking it, but maybe not posting it. That would be awesome. Here's another example of the bad. And I'm calling this one the groupie. This is where you share something, and then not only have you shared it, you then share your own post to every group that you're on. I know you all know somebody like this. Guys, this is not cool. This is basically spamming. Super excited that you're sharing wonderful news, but don't be posting your personal posts into every group that you're in. It's not a good way to make friends online, and it's also not usually the point of all of those groups. So I would encourage you not to be the groupie. Don't be just spamming your personal posts into every group that you're a member of. Not a great way to do social media. On that note, I'm calling this one chicken dinner, as in winner, winner, chicken dinner. I love that we post creative ways to get people to come to open houses. I'm not so sure this is the best way to do it. However, paying people to attend your open houses is maybe not the best call to action. Would absolutely love to see more creative ways to drive traffic to open houses in 2016. Maybe focus on some of the better features of the property. Maybe talk about why it's great to live in that community. Maybe share a personal story about the homeowner's favorite memory in that home. But I don't know that we should be resorting to paying people or even giving them the opportunity to win cash just to attend open houses or buy and sell with us. I know in a lot of areas this is totally illegal. And even if it's not, I would say that it's definitely and probably in poor taste. So let's keep this one off the table for 2016. All right, let's move on to Ghost Town. I'm calling this one Ghost Town because this was a very interesting post. When I saw this, immediately this made me kind of sit back and go, wow, this is kind of what's wrong with social media, especially in this industry. I see it a lot. If you are not planning on being on one of your social media accounts on a regular basis, it's better that you're not even there. I call that, it's like Pompeii. It's like a ghost town. You've created this thing and then you never go back. It's like having a phone number and having voicemail attached to it, but you never check the voicemail. So people are calling you and they're leaving you a voicemail, but it never goes anywhere. It's the same way when we use social media like this. If you are on Twitter and you're never going to tweet and you're not checking tweets, get off Twitter. Delete your account. You don't need to be there. The problem is people expect you to be sharing content if you're there, and it's just such a bad feeling for them to be posting and sharing and reaching out to you and you're not there at all. I blocked out some other comments on here, but I especially the bottom comment there kind of just made me cry a few tears. No, yes, there's a setting when you post on Facebook, it automatically tweets, but don't do that. That doesn't mean that you are not doing the work, that means that you are using it incorrectly. I know there's a feature to allow you to do that, but guys, it's just bad social media in general. It's just proving to people that you're somewhere, but you're not actually going to engage with them there. So don't have a phone number you're not going to answer. Don't have a Twitter account that you're not going to monitor. The next one, I'm coining this phrase. I swear we're going to make this one a thing. I'm calling this one the humble vent. You've probably all heard of the humble brag. This is the humble vent, guys. This is where, and we see this all the time, especially in groups, where somebody says, I really could use some advice. But really what they're looking to do is just vent about their customers or their coworkers or their whoever. Guys, this is bad social media. This is just another example of you're using it to publicly vent about somebody under the guise of like, I would really like some advice on how to do this. But really what you're really saying is, I would really like it if you could just listen to me talk about how crazy these people are making me. I get it, guys. We all have people in our lives that make us crazy. Holy smokes, my list is a mile long. None of them are you, of course. But I mean, look at this. This is just a humble vent. This is, I'd love some advice, but I'm just going to rant. And I think that we can do better. I think there are ways to ask for advice without having to make it feel like you were really just coming to vent or rant. So I would encourage you to stop that. This one, I didn't block out Matthew, and just so you know, Matthew, a great friend and respected, as well as Greg Fisher, who is noted on here. I'm not naming and shaming Matthew for sharing this. I just want to give him credit for sharing this because I agree with him. Make this stop. Guys, I mean, come on. Every single social media channel that comes out does not necessarily need to be about selling. We don't necessarily need to use every tool available to sell. And I'm drawing the line at Tinder, guys. Do not upload pictures of the homes you're selling to Tinder and hope that people swipe them. This is, no, make this stop. Guys, some things are just not meant to be used as a sales tool, and I'm drawing the line in the sand. Tinder is one of them. I agree with Matthew and Greg. We have got to make this stuff stop. I think there are amazing tools out there for getting the word out about what you do and how much you love your customers, your clients, and your business. But Tinder is not one of them. All right, moving on. Follow fail. This is something that falls under the category of, I'm going to show you what you're doing wrong and I'm going to teach you right now how to never do it again. So over on the left, you see the image there with Blurry Guy where he's showing you that he wants to follow the comments in this post. And so he just types in following. I know you've seen this. You probably are guilty of doing this if you don't know better. Here is the way to properly follow comments in a post or on a thread. You go up to the top of the thread or the post, you click the little arrow in the right-hand corner, and you turn on notifications. You are now going to get a notification anytime someone posts in that, but what you don't do is go in and type following. I hate it when I'm scrolling through a post and there's 50 comments that say following, following, following. Guys, you don't have to do this. Facebook has created a way for you to follow without having to post. And so now you know. Turn on notifications and don't be the follow fail. All right, auto posting. More on the topic that I was talking about a minute ago about taking your content from one social site to the next. This is another thing that makes me absolutely crazy. This auto posting stuff. I know that you're using some great tools and resources out there. CirclePix is not a horrible tool. It's not a bad resource, but when you are allowing these companies to auto post, and this is the only thing that's showing up in your account. So I'm scrolling down through days and days and hours of these posts, and all I ever see is auto posting. This is a bad way to be using social media. Anybody who's going to be looking at this is going to see, A, you're not there, you're not engaging, it's robotic, it's automatic. This is not how social media is meant to be used. It's supposed to be social. Post the link, but talk about why it's great, or talk about something that's going to make me want to click on that little arrow and watch that video, because I'm telling you what, these automatic robotic auto posts are not cutting it. Bad social media. Go in, take a look at the apps that have the ability to auto post for you. You can get those in your settings under apps and start turning some of those off. Start posting your content automatically or manually, not automatically, so that you go in and you add some great stuff and some great content to it. All right, auto posting take 2. I'm not going to stop talking about City Blast. I see so many people using it. And here's a really good example of why I hate it. I'm not going to apologize for it, guys. What you're doing is you're allowing a company to post stuff that you don't have any control over in your news feed, in your timeline for other people to see in their news feed. And what's happening a lot of times is because they're posting these bulk things to you, not only your timeline, but everybody else who subscribes to them. Not only am I, as a person who's following you, seeing these several times, but they're also not formatting these properly. So when you look at this, obviously right away, does this look engaging to you? Does this look like something you want to click on? It hasn't pulled through an image. There's no follow through link. There's no call to action. It's not necessarily relevant. We can do better. This is not the way that we should be using social media. And if you're really desperate for content and you want to be finding something to share, this is not the way to go. I would rather see you do your best to post a really realistic comment about your life and your community and whatever, as opposed to auto posting this kind of, and I'm going to call it crap because it is. So turn that stuff off and really start posting some value. You know that every year we also have to do a shout out to vague booking. And I think that this is continuing to be a problem. I don't know why, especially around football season. I don't really understand what's up with it. I've never understood this. So if I'm missing something amazing, please tweet me using the hashtag #GoodBadUgly and tell me what I'm missing in terms of this. The first one, 4 days and 20 hours, the first comment and only comment, by the way, totally just does it for me. Until what? Guys, this is bad social media. We can do better. Enough of the vague booking. The second one, I just had to laugh because it came up in my, I don't know why I have a Google alert for Valerie and douchebag in the same sentence, but apparently I do. I don't know why they set that up at some point. Thankfully, they're referring to Valerie off of General Hospital, but that took a while to get to. Guys, vague booking, come on. You are not talking to just one person. Everybody who's friends with you or follows you sees these posts, and so you need a little bit of context. This is not how you get engagement, and it's not the best way to be having conversations with people. I mean, this is a great way to use Twitter. Go in and just be as vague as you want in Twitter because people are generally at that point going to be following you around a certain topic. But in Facebook, this is definitely vague booking and a bad way to be using social media. Lastly, I've saved the best for last in the bad section this year, and this is maybe one of my biggest pet peeves. And again, this is controversial. If you think this is amazing, I would love for you to tweet me and tell me why you think this is amazing. But I don't get it. This is not engagement. Every once in a while, I know somebody in the industry is having a conference because in my news feed, all of a sudden, I start seeing 30 or 40 or 100 people post the same things. How old were you when you bought your first house? What was the name of your first pet? I totally get that you're trying to get engagement, but guys, this is not engagement. There's no context here. What you're trying to do is just get a whole bunch of people to comment, but it's like saying, hey, raise your hand if you like the color blue. It's not telling you anything. It's not starting a conversation. It's not giving anybody any value. It's not engagement. And to prove my point, this is sort of the thing that follows it. And it goes for days. I'm telling you what, guys, it's not bad to ask questions. In fact, one of the very best things we can do on social media is ask questions. But ask a relevant question that's going to get something somewhere out of it. So maybe it's a question like, what was the number one thing you loved about your first house? And if you were to buy a house now, would that still be as interesting? At least that's something that's going to give you some context for a story when you're talking to buyers and sellers down the road. But pages and pages of 23, 25, 30, 32, and 46 are not engagement. That's not a conversation. Those are just numbers. So we can do better. when you're asking a question, think about the call to action. Are you looking to create engagement, or are you just looking for clicks? There's a difference. So that concludes our bad section. We're going to be heading into the ugly now. So I encourage you to maybe put on your seatbelt. This is where it gets a little bit ugly, guys. And I'm going to kind of go back to my public service announcement in the beginning and say, I'm not here to name and shame. I'm going to make a couple exceptions this year. I am going to name and shame a little bit. Don't send me hate mail. You can tweet me. It's all good. But here's the thing. I think that there is a time and place where in our industry, we have to say enough. Enough of the stuff that makes us look bad. Enough of the stuff that makes us look like we are not professional and not totally passionate about what we do. And I think that there is a time and a place where we can, as a group, stand up and say, we are going to be a better example. And so some of these examples that I'm going to show you today are not only things that I'm going to inform you so you know better, but I'm also going to inform you so you can help us as a group make real estate agents online look smarter. You with me? All right, so let's jump into the ugly. We're going to start out with this one. I'm starting light, guys. We're going to move darker as we go in here to ugly, but this one, bless his heart. You know, I understand. First of all, I totally don't get the Instagram that also posts to Facebook. That's a totally other topic. We talked about it last year, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. This picture is probably a really good example of what's wrong with this industry. The guy is in the front and the house is in the back and the car is in between, and I can't really even see the house, but he's trying to sell me the house. We can do better. We can do better than this. This is just horrible social media. If you're going to be talking about something that you're selling that someone is possibly going to be buying as their largest financial investment in the world or maybe in their life, guys, we can take better pictures, and we don't have to be right in the front because it doesn't necessarily have to be about you. It can be about the customer and what they want. So yeah, this one's definitely coming in the ugly category. Moving into the next one, this was controversial this year. I have never seen something go so viral so fast as this hoax this year. And the funny thing is, this hoax has made the rounds year after year after year for potentially now 3 or 4 years. When Facebook privacy messages come up in your newsfeed where they're saying that you have to post something based on some law or the Geneva Convention or the Rome Statute, which I encourage you to Google at some point, and they're telling you that in order to keep Facebook from sharing the stuff that you post online, you have to share this comment. It's not true. I can't be any clearer about that. This, people, is not a real thing. Facebook is never going to say, oh yes, if you publish that in your newsfeed, we won't publish your public photos. Guys, everything you put on Facebook, I hate to tell you, is on the internet. And anything you put on the internet is pretty much fair game. And if you don't want your content shared, you shouldn't put it on the internet. I love you. I'm saying this for your own good. But guys, there is no such thing as a free lunch. And you cannot post this stuff and expect it to work. This is not a real thing. And I hope that this helps cut down on a few of these the next time this one comes around, because you know it's going to. So this one, no, ugly. In the same vein, I'd like to introduce you to my friend Snopes. If you've never checked out Snopes.com, I highly encourage you to do that. It's a great and very useful website that teaches you to take a look first before you post something to find out if it's a hoax. And I can tell you, friends, as much as I love you, and as much as Mark Zuckerberg probably loves you, he is not going to give 1,000 people $4.5 million each as a way of saying thank you for using Facebook. It's not worth a try. It's not just maybe I'll try it anyway. It's not, hey, everything's worth a try. No, stop. Make it stop. This is not a real thing. Every time you see something where a company is going to give you a free something, or if you click here, Costco's going to give you a year membership, or if you say thank you, Apple's going to give you an iPad, it's spam. This is not real. And the more you share it, the more it just perpetuates the problem of more people sharing it. So let's all band together, hold hands, sing Kumbaya, and promise to never, ever do this again. Are you with me? All right, moving on. This one This one hurts my heart, guys. Again, kind of back to the topic of using your inside voice or not putting something on Facebook that you wouldn't say in front of somebody to their face. I don't love to see this stuff in our industry, and I don't love to see this as a representation of our industry. I think that we can do better. And I really would hope that maybe as a New Year's resolution for 2016, we can all resolve to just be a little bit kinder and a little bit less like this on social media this year. I don't know what else to say about that. So moving on to the next one. This one, just no. We had a just no category last year, and this one definitely became just no very, very quickly. I know for many of you, you are going to remember what happened very recently with the terrorist attack in Paris. And I can promise you, folks, this is not the way to respond to an international terrorist event. Tweeting this is not, it's just not the way, just no. Nope. Yeah. I know you're with me on this one. This was definitely not to name and shame, but guys, our job is to educate and encourage and to talk to people about the joys and of home ownership. It's not to scare people. It's not to make light of situations that are harmful and painful, and definitely would encourage you to snuff this out when you see it and to tell people this is not okay and to encourage them to do better, because this is just ugly, ugly social media. This one, this is near and dear to my heart. I have been on a personal crusade for the last 4 years to get people to stop giving in to clickbait. And for those of you who are listening to this, you know who you are. I want to just educate you a little bit on what the purpose behind stuff like this is, because it's not just about don't click on it because it's not real. Because yes, that's very true. Don't click on this stuff because it's not real. But this is definitely stuff that's been going around for years. And I just wanted to help you to understand why this makes the rounds and what it is. This is what I refer to as clickbait. And this is a post that's created specifically to get you to do something, to click on it or to comment or to share. You're going to see these where it says something like type amen, or how many likes can we get for this cute puppy, or how many likes can we get for this brave veteran, or don't ignore this unless you don't have a heart, or don't press watch without typing amen, or show respect. You see these all the time. They happen out there all the time. Click and type, oh my God, and see what happens to this image, or say amen and share and you'll get $1 million in your bank account. Some people like these or click on them because they go, oh, it's worth a shot. You never know. But let me just educate you on what these are. The actual term for this type of a post is called like farming. So basically what they're doing is they're creating a post to actually compel you to click like or to comment. And what they're doing is they're trying to trick you into commenting on it in order to make the post very popular. And once they make the post popular, these posts are created by scammers. They will then sell the post to online marketing companies or other scammers with all of the publicly available information of all of the Facebook users who commented on them. So that's you, if you liked or shared or commented amen. And then what's going to happen is that the online marketing companies that have bought this information from the spammers or scammers, they are going to start sending hundreds of spam or unsolicited messages, and they may even start sending phishing or malicious messages, or they will target you for stealing your login information. And so the more you give into this, even if you think, oh, what could it hurt? I'm going to press okay or like, or I'm going to comment, or even just, oh, this would be great. Wouldn't it be nice if this was real? You are now on a list to be sold as public information to a company that now wants to target you as a scam. And oftentimes what you'll see is the spammers or the scammers will actually replace the image in the post with something that you would have never commented on in the beginning. And they use that information to then market to your friends that this is something that you like. So I encourage you, please don't just stop doing this because it's ugly social media, but stop doing this because you're actually opening yourself up to damaging social media practices like phishing campaigns. This is like farming. This is not a good thing. So let's just collectively as a group, stop posting on this kind of crap, because we're just, again, making the problem worse. Another one that made its way into the ugly category this year was this particular post. And you'll remember from earlier this year, there was a breach in privacy with the Ashley Madison website. It was hacked, and public information was posted. Now, regardless of how you feel about the people who use this website, or regardless of how you feel about their public information, imagine if you were in a situation where your private information on any website anywhere was made public, and the violation that you would feel. And then put yourself in the shoes of people that are maybe in that situation. Now, maybe this particular account is a bad example, but I don't think making light of people's pain or of people's unfortunate circumstances warrants a marketing campaign. And I think this is just as ugly as the post about the international terrorist incident. I think that there are so many other ways for us to get the word out about our industry and our professionalism, and having fun doing it without ambulance chasing. And I think that this is just in any regard, this is ambulance chasing. And I think that we should, as an industry, stop saying that this stuff is funny and start making a stand that this just dumbs down the image of our industry, and it makes us look like we're not professional and we're not serious. And I think that we can do better. Moving on to the next one, I am, as I said, naming and shaming a particular couple of people. And this one, I'm going to name and shame the broke agent on this one. And I called attention to this publicly, and so it is also making its way into Good, Bad, Ugly. I don't know if you saw this post on the broke agent about what to do at your office holiday party. But again, I think this is a really good example of when you have a voice and you have the ability to influence the industry for good, and you have the ability to use that voice to talk positively about our industry. One of the very last things that I think we should be doing with it is perpetuating the image that we are drunk, partying, unprofessional people. I think our industry can do better and should do better. And I think that I would use this example to challenge all of us who have a voice, who have followers, who have blogs, who have videos, to use our voices for positive in this industry, and to stop using it as a way to really dumb down our professional image. And that's just a little bit of a soapbox for me, because I really do care a lot about this industry and about making it great. And I encourage you to, again, when you see these types of things, look at them for what they really are. They are not funny. They are perpetuating an image that is not professional. Next one is what I'm calling the TMI vent. I think we all vent at some point. I'm pretty sure that I just did on my last slide. But I think that, venting is healthy, but I don't necessarily think that venting, sharing the information about the people that we're venting about in this regard, is the way to go. I don't think that sharing personal and private information about our peers, conversations, or names or information is ever a good way to go. And I don't like seeing this on groups and in conversations. So guys, yes, you're frustrated with the co-broke agent in your current deal, or you're frustrated with your client, but it's not okay to be sharing their personal information or calling them out on these types of posts, or sharing the information that they thought was going to be private, especially in a text message. So ugly social media, way too much TMI in that one. The very last one that I have for you today is this one. And I know pretty much every single one of you, if you are in North America or if you follow social media in the industry at all, you've seen this one. This was super controversial, and I'm ending on this one for a reason. I started out this presentation today, this webinar, talking about how, to me, I feel like social media has been a bit heavy this year. And I was kind of actually really nervous about doing this webinar this year, because I wanted to make sure that I had enough lightheartedness to combat what I feel has been a really dark social media period. I feel like we've really gotten to the point where we do publicly call out real estate social media failure. And I think this was a really good example of that. Absolutely, should this have been vetted? Should this postcard have gone out? No, I don't agree that it should have. I don't think that this is something that should have made it past past the idea stage. I don't know that this shines a great light on the professionals that are on the right-hand side, or shines a great light on the agents who are depicted on the left-hand side of this postcard. That being said, I think that the response that came to this social media post, because this went viral, let's face it, these two real estate professionals on the right hand side ended up losing their place at the brokerage where they were employed. They ended up losing their jobs over this post. And this went viral in sort of a really disturbing way. I feel that there was a bit of a lynch mob mentality around this particular post. Whether you agree with it or not, I'm not so sure that we need to be, again, using our voices to create a very public outcry to publicly shame and try and destroy the people who make bad decisions. And I think that we all have the opportunity to make bad decisions in our life and learn from them. And one of the best things about life is that it affords us so many of those opportunities. But I was really disappointed to see the way that this was handled. And I would encourage our industry to really step up and, yes, take a stand for what we don't believe in, but at the same time, not in a way that's destroying the lives of the people who have made mistakes. And I think for me, that was really just my 2 cents on this one, because you knew this was going to make the file this year, and I struggled with what to say about it. And so I just encourage all of us to just put ourselves in the shoes of the people that are around us and realize that everybody makes mistakes. That being said, I want to give you a challenge for 2016. I enjoy putting these sessions together every year. There's always a lot of good. There's always a lot of fun. I love the good stuff in the beginning. I would encourage you to think back to those and realize that local love and sharing community information and talking about why we love our jobs and talking about how we give back and talking about how we make it personal, all of that adds an extremely large amount of value. And I would encourage you, as you look at your posts going forward over the next couple of weeks and then into 2016, I would encourage you to ask yourself, does this add value? And I always, always ask this question at the end of every session. Does this add value? Is this something that I feel that someone else is going to look at and smile and enjoy and share and learn from? And I hope that you have done the same today. I hope that you have learned a little bit from our session. I'd like to give a big shout out again to Blurry Guy. I use the same picture every year to cover up those that I don't want to name and shame. And so special thanks to Blurry Guy for standing in. One of the things I would like to leave you with is I wish for you all a very happy holidays. I thank you so much for being so supportive and engaged in our industry. So many of you that are listening that I can see your names on the right-hand side of my screen right now, I know are some of the most influential and encouraging and positive voices in our industry. And I know so many of you are out there fighting that good fight every day. And I really, really appreciate you. The very last thing I'm going to leave you with is, as a reminder, every single one of you that joined today, a donation is going to be made in your honor to the Alyssa Ray Johnson Fund to hopefully bring that foundation up to its $100,000 goal. And I would encourage you, if you would like to give a little bit back as well, and you're looking for somewhere to make a donation that will make a big difference, I would encourage you to also donate to either Sick Kids Foundation, the Alyssa Ray Johnson Fund, or Children's Miracle Network, or the charity of your choice. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you got a little bit of a laugh. I hope you learned something. I love you all so much. I wish you a very, very happy holidays and a very peaceful new year and a very, very value-full 2016. Have a great day.